that has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom, that has come to me. Running fast to the edge of my life, Jesus saved me in time. Happiness comes so seldom, that has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom, that has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom, that has come to me. Running fast for the edge of my life, Jesus saved me in time. Happiness comes so seldom, that has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom, that has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom, that has come to me. Running fast for the edge of my life, Jesus saved me in time. Happiness comes so seldom, that has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom, that has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom, that has come to me. Running fast for the edge of my life, Jesus saved me in time. Jesus saved me in time. Happiness comes so seldom, that has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom, that has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom, that has come to me. Running fast for the edge of my life, Jesus saved me in time. Happiness comes so seldom, that has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom, that has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom, that has come to me. Running fast for the edge of my life, Jesus saved me in time. Happiness comes so seldom, that has come to me. Happiness comes so seldom, that has come to me. Happiness comes, that has come to me. Running fast for the edge of my life, Jesus saved me in time. Running fast for the edge of my life, Jesus saved me in time. Happiness comes so seldom, that has come to me. It is here in the Father's kingdom. It was there for me. You took me, and you washed away my sins. You washed away.
You ready? You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, theys, and gays. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your very tired, somewhat awake co-host Hunter here. And I am joined by Canada's favorite son. I'm joined by Bradley. Bradley, how are you, sir?
Good, thank you. I'm also very tired all the time, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'm so yeah, my soapbox corner. I'm gonna be real,
All
y'all.
right, I'm boxing it up.
So I'm not gonna go too crazy today. But my soapbox corner, I mean, because like I said, I'm not gonna talk about I'm going to try as hard as possible to not actively talk about the Trump administration whenever I come on, because I could make that soapbox corner just like consistently
We could be
because
a talking head political podcast
yeah, and like I,
all, all the time.
as I have said pretty consistently over the last soon next month will be 11 years of doing the podcast, which is insane. Closing in on
Wow.
1,000 reviews too, which is also even more insane. But yeah, it could consistently be about the Trump administration, but this is not the Colbert Report. I know my lane, and I am very okay with my lane. With that said, my big soapbox corner today is just on media. So and it's going to tie in perfectly to our reviews today. So Netflix has become I can't think of another term, so I'm just going to use it, whorish. That's the best way I can put it. Netflix has become so
Whore-ish.
whorish in the way that they distribute media, distribute film. Really the same thing with all these streaming services. And like I remember, to get old man here, back in my day, when it was like when Netflix was like the one, it was like, all right, Netflix is kind of the first streaming service, and then these other studios were like, wait a minute, more money because we're only worth $10 billion when we could be worth 15 billion. Let's go ahead and invest money and create our own streaming services. So I'm gonna play a game. Let me think about the streaming services. There's Netflix, Prime Video, Hulu, Disney Plus, Apple TV, AMC Plus, Stars, Paramount Plus, HBO Max, Shudder, Crunchyroll, Peacock, Pluto, Tubi. You see my point? You see how easily it was for me to rattle all of those stream services off without fucking slowing down? There's way too goddamn many. And as I came on here and said dozens of times that it's going to lead to the shitty streaming bubble where everyone has a streaming service, even though they don't need to. And that's exactly where we're at now. It's fucking cable. It's cable, but for streaming now. And studios, y'all need to stop with this shit. You need to actually warrant and justify the amount that you're asking consumers to pay at this point. And you're not. You straight up aren't. Which has really become my big axe to grind with Netflix, because and I had I had Canada on specifically because this is something I continuously roast him for. And he said this 4 years ago when we first met, where he was like, Hunter, come on. These streaming services need to create content in order to have these streaming services. And I told him back then, I said, no. Don't you give these studios an out. They should be trying to produce good content, not content for the state of existing. And that leads us right into our review for the Electric Slate, which so one of the jokes that Canada has, one of his more profound jokes, honestly, is the "Thank God for Marvel" rant, and we've talked about it on here before, where there are certain people like that. Okay, yeah, take Mark Ruffalo. One of the best actors we have working today, one of the most consistently great actors working today. whether it's saying, like whether it's like being again, whether it's I know this much is true, whether it's Spotlight, Dark Waters. I know I'm missing shit, but just those off the top of my head. Just because he turns green every so often and goes, like he mostly does indie shit and is really great. One of the better filmographies I'd say in the last 20 years. Ruffalo's fucking amazing. Dark Waters deserved a lot more love than it got, by the way. That's one of those movies that when that awards season, I was actually very mad that people were just like, oh, whatever. It's like, this is amazing and actually an Oscar worthy performance. And yeah, just brush aside, don't understand it. But with that said, you have these actors like I'll just take Chris Evans for example. And look, I love Chris Evans. I will I will stand on business on defending Jacob. I think that's a good miniseries. I think Gifted is really great. Snowpiercer, obviously, but Evans has been on this this little streak recently, whether it's between The Gray Man or Red One or Ghosted, where I just hear Bradley's voice in my head going, "Thank God for Marvel!" Like Chris Evans is coming back. Like, why is he coming back? Why is he coming back to play? Most likely an evil Captain America. Thank God for Marvel. And this is one of those movies where it's just that rings so loudly in my head. I realize I completely took away your chance at Soapbox Corner, so my bad. Yeah, anything you want to rant about before we get into this review proper?
No, not really. Oh, the subscription services for streaming. I mean, you said all that before even digging into, hey, now you have to pay more not to see ads. Thank you.
Yeah.
What a bunch of assholes, huh?
And that's not even including all ads, because now what they're saying is, there might be a case or two where you might see an ad. So I'm like, well, then what's the fucking point of me paying for ad free?
I'm cheap. Right away. I was like, okay, I'll see commercials again. I'll pay less to see commercials. And they were like, oh no, you have to pay more because we're raising everything.
Yeah,
you just have to pay a lot more not to see commercials. Like, wow. Cool. Thanks, Amazon.
Yeah, and Amazon is
the billionaires don't want more money, Hunter. They already have money.
Yeah, fuck out of here. It's so frustrating because it's like so I remember like this girl I was dating, and we didn't date long because she sucked, but she but she ended up, but she had Spotify. But she had Spotify with ads, and I'll be real, music is the one case where, like, because I'm just so used to cartoons and like shows having commercials. It's dumb but fine. There is nothing more agitating to me than if I'm playing music or I'm playing a playlist and then it's like, oh, here's this random ad for toothpaste or whatever. It's like, no, I'm vibing. No, get the fuck off my. So I pay for Spotify Premium just so I don't have to have ads. I use Prime Video a good amount. I refuse to give Jeff Bezos, that fucking peanut looking motherfucker, I refuse to give him any more money, even though it's only like $3 for ad free. It's like, no, absolutely not. I'm already paying for Prime. You should give it to me for just having Prime, motherfucker. Don't act like you're doing me some a favor.
They'd be more, since so many corporations are trying to sound at least consumer friendly. I assumed Amazon would be like, hey, here's how much it is to go ad free, or maybe you add 2 extra channels and we'll go ad free. Maybe we do a little bundle package and go ad free. Disney Plus in Canada is the only one that seems to, and of course, I think it's by accident, but they're like, hey, we're Disney Plus. Here's all the shit you get with it since you're in Canada. Here's your Hulu. Here's your sports. And just a ton of crap, Hunter.
Yeah,
I don't take advantage of a lot of it. Well, Hulu I do all the time, but yeah, maybe maybe like actually be consumer friendly. They always seem to be trying to think of the
Right?
best excuses to shit on consumers.
Well, I just saw that HBO Max apparently pulled like most of the Looney Tunes cartoons.
Yeah, in March they had like a big grave digging for a ton of stuff that people love.
Which why?
And it's all
Why are you
yeah, it's all animated stuff.
it's stuff you own, motherfucker. Why are you pulling this shit? Like there's
The
no
weirdest thing is
reason.
a lot of this stuff you can't get anywhere else, even
It,
purchase.
in that you literally tied it back for me, my friend, because that's what I was gonna go back to. There's a reason why, because I still have my friends ask me, they're like, dude, why do you buy physical media still? This is why. Because these studios can just pull the shit. Like I have the Bugs Bunny like 80th anniversary like special collector's edition,
Mhm.
like box set. Um
Oh, that's
it's
cool.
it's something that I put on a decent amount, and I was explaining to Alea, I'm like, yeah, because I don't trust David Zaslav to not just pull this shit. Like, I own the first 3 seasons, volumes, whatever you want to call it, of Space Ghost Coast to Coast. You can watch Space Ghost on Adult Swim, the Adult Swim app, but you can't watch it on HBO Max, which is again fucking stupid. Um, I've brought up this movie multiple times. That Disney original science fiction movie for kids, that movie Crater, that
Mhm.
I've really enjoyed, that I reviewed, that got lost in the when my computer kind of glitch, and I wanted to go ahead and re-review it. I fucking can't because they pulled the movie at least a year and a half ago and haven't put it back up. That's something that was produced in-house by fucking Disney. And you're gonna have the nerve to go, oh, we have to raise prices. Are you gonna pay any of their people in the parks more money? I'm gonna assume you don't, because a lot of these people have to have second fucking jobs because you're such a fucking greedy corporation. It pisses me off. And Netflix, oh Netflix. So I'm gonna come. So last year, my least favorite film last year was Unfrosted. I fucking hate
Oh, there you
Unfrosted.
go. Yeah.
It angers me to a level that still pisses me off. And what does Netflix start with this year? Kinda Pregnant, the new Amy Schumer movie, where, oh hey, I'm gonna pretend I'm not pregnant so I can get all the benefits of people actually feeling sorry for me. But then when people find out I'm not pregnant, instead of saying "go fuck yourself, bitch," like any sane person would, they go, "Oh no, 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 no! This is part of her quirkiness, so let's go ahead and accept her." What? That's the role. That's the route you're going.
So
Fuck
she's
you.
like playing she's playing like the Jill character in Jack and Jill with Adam Sandler.
Exactly. And the movie tells me I'm supposed to celebrate her for doing this because it shows that she cares. Like that is Netflix.
What's
Come on now.
what is it that she's caring about in this scenario?
Because she wants to be a mom so bad.
Why doesn't she just get pregnant for real?
Or
Is she
adopt.
infertile or
I have
yeah,
no.
or
That's the thing,
adoption's
and
right?
they never. That none of that is ever
None of that
brought
is brought
up,
up.
man. Like, and that's what. Like, this is the shit. Like, let's flip the roles. Let's flip the roles. So, if a man said, "Oh my god, I'm gonna be having a kid with my significant other," actually, what the fuck am I talking about? That's what Just Go With It is. That Adam Sandler movie. He's like,
Oh,
oh,
I don't think I saw it.
I got divorced, but
Oh, yeah, yeah, I saw that.
I still wear my wedding ring because I'm
Who's
still
the Victoria's Secret model that was
Brooklyn
his
Brooklyn Decker. Is
Brooklyn
her,
Decker? She was
yeah,
everywhere for a while, huh?
yeah. She misses Jason Statham because they were trying to make her a thing. And
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
Good looking couple. I mean, I will say that.
He's
So,
so happy all the time. That's cool.
yeah. Why wouldn't you be? She's not.
You think that's why he always talks like a big, tough, strong guy to like impress his
She's
wife?
not. She can't act, but she is not unattractive. But Netflix is really starting to produce things really consistently that I'm actively getting angry about. Like for every Ultraman Rising, they're giving me a wrong Missy, or Happy Gilmore 2, which why are we getting Happy Gilmore 2 after how long has it been? Like 30 years?
I think we were both kids, dude. Like 9
Yeah,
to 10.
man. What the fuck are we doing? And there is no greater, in my opinion, thank God for Marvel act than the Russo brothers. Dude, if the Russo brothers are not in a community college or directing some comic book shit, their output independent of that is poopy.
Let me just take a look on the old IMDb here.
So here
I'm just pulling up Anthony Russo.
Okay, so let me go through here. So you mean Dupree.
Oh, I
All right.
remember you, me Dupree.
Dude, you
Wow,
mean Dupree
that goes back
so
to what you
bad.
said about we should be happy that you have such a quirky friend that's ruining your life.
Dude, you mean Dupree is fucking bad, man. That is a bad fucking movie.
Oh, you're married. Oh
so- so-
no. Well, that makes me lonely. You should drop your life and be friends with me again.
Right, like someone actively trying to break up your relationship, like
And
that,
Buddy's wife is okay with it. Is the weird thing.
which is the part that like is like the hardest to buy, is that she's just
Yeah.
completely cool with that. So they produced Chadwick Boseman's 21 Bridges, which I actually dig that movie quite a bit. They were executives on A Merry Friggin' Christmas, which is that Joe McHale Robin Williams movie, which
I don't think I saw that one.
which fine, whatever. They directed and produced that Tom Holland film Cherry, which, man, that is a movie that just actively pisses me off. Like
can I ask why? Is there anything specific about it? Is it the asshole camera shot or?
So oh god, that is a thing. I
Remember
fuck
that?
I did.
Remember
Fuck,
down the asshole?
I forgot about. God damn it! I just thanks for reminding me of that. So there's that. That's not great, but it really is the, oh my god, he's a soldier. Like, this is something completely beyond his control. Where I've seen multiple films starring a person of color, where it's like he's a no good drug addict. Fuck him. Like, yeah, the way that it's presented, it's very problematic to me, and I think is actually pretty terrible. So that's one reason. The Gray Man,
and he also robbed banks.
I mean, yeah, that old chestnut, yeah.
He's not arrested robbing banks if he was played by John Boyega. He's like shot going into the bank. Yeah. Oh no. Did he get cut from his own show or did I? Hello? So yes, Cherry by the Russos. Mm-hmm. It's actually based on a novel, an autobiography. One of the worst cases of PTSD in the history of the United States military. Yeah, I read it. It's good. It's a good memoir. That's why he gets addicted to heroin. Yeah. I'm just gonna wait for Hunter to come back. Boom, boom. Yeah, I mean, it still says we're live. So thanks for everybody still hanging out. If I'm still being recorded and watched, I honestly don't know.
All right. So the wind randomly, our electricity in the house literally just randomly went out. I've never had that happen. That was weird. Um, so sorry about that.
I was just randomly talking about Cherry,
I know.
silently and awkwardly into the void.
Oh, that was really intense. I was like sitting here. I'm like, why did they? So just real quick, where I'm at, we have like extreme wind right now, and we're supposed to be getting like a blizzard potentially. So I apologize for that, but literally all the electricity in the house went out. So another reason why, actually, real quick, I could say that. So I won't have another stream. I think I'll have one more stream this week, but I'm gonna be off stream at least for a week because we're moving. We're moving to a bigger home, uh, which I'm so grateful for, and gonna have an actual like more. My new office is actually about double this size, which is fantastic. So I'll actually be able to put more stuff in there that I want, and like a bigger cat tree for cats in, and yeah, I'm really excited. So it'll probably take, a month or two to get it exactly the way I want. Because I mean, Canada, as you know, like I know you've been in the same place for a minute, but it takes like another like it I always say usually takes about 6 months to be truly moved into a house, but then it takes like another six, to 12 months to get the house like as you want it.
Mhm.
So fingers crossed I'll be working here in the next couple weeks. But yeah, I will be in a bigger space, and so the stream will look different and it'll be great. But anyways, back to Cherry. Yeah, again, I think I'm good, but if I go silent again, it's not because I'm ditching y'all, it's because the wind's insane. But yeah, so the Russos, man, like with like Cherry, I know they did Extraction, or both Extraction films. I know they're producers on that. I dig the Extraction movies a lot.
Yeah, very
Um,
very entertaining movies.
yeah, they are very entertaining films.
Chris Hemsworth, of all people, doesn't really fall into thank goodness he can go back to Marvel category a lot, huh?
No, because he's got the Extraction films. He did Rush. He's got Bad Times at the El Royale. He's the best part of a female-led Ghostbusters film, which is a problem in itself. But
Yeah.
that's but
Yeah. Cabin in the Woods, people are watching
yeah,
annually.
Cabin in the Woods is fantastic. Yeah, Hemsworth. He's the best thing about that shitty vacation movie, that vacation reboot, because oof,
Oh, yeah.
that's a rough watch. You want to talk about a rough watch? That vacation reboot is
Everybody, critics and audiences that saw it loved him in Furiosa.
yeah, which I was so sad I couldn't find a spot for them personally on my best of, because I really dig Furiosa a lot. But all that to say, Netflix has produced some not great shit, and the Russos, like post Endgame, have just felt like they're almost like I don't even know what you'd call it, man. Like spiraling, it feels like. By the way, I didn't even mention Citadel, which that Netflix show, or that
Is that
Prime show,
Prime show?
which
Okay.
oh my god, that show is so like I
Yeah,
gotta.
I think I said I don't think Prime produces any bad shows, and then you asked, "Have you seen Citadel?" And I was like,
Yeah, I
"No."
was
I
quick
was
on
like,
that
"No, I
shit.
haven't."
Yeah.
But
I was like, don't you fucking dare say that.
no, I've not seen it, but I've heard from several sources, including you, that it's pretty terrible.
It's bad. It's a bad show. So yeah, like, because I remember when you asked that, I was like, no. I was like, you are not sliding on that.
All the Amazon shows I see are like, the really popular and pretty high quality ones. Usually
Yeah.
from producers that are given free reign to do whatever they want, and whoever's in charge is like, whatever, just make me money.
By the way, do you watch that Lord of the Rings show?
I watched it. Yeah, I watched the first season. I'm not caught up on the second one yet, and I think it got renewed for a third.
It did, for what they paid for it. It fucking better. It fucking better. Jesus. Well, it was funny because people were like, "Oh, dude, they're gonna cancel." I'm like, just on pride, they won't cancel that show for at least 3 seasons. You can't pay that much
Yeah,
for Lord of the Rings and go up 2 seasons. Like, nah, man. Like, you have to, get like 3-4 seasons. That are you liking it?
it's fine. I mean, so much of Lord of the Rings, you guys, so much of it is lore and knowing lore and loving the lore.
Yeah.
So when a show comes out and like even gets a leaf wrong on a tree, fans are all like, "This is not respecting the lore." So,
You're not
and
wrong.
I'm not going to crap on fans either. It's just, I don't know. I think you got to go crazy with it, like your James Gunns or your Peter Jacksons or your somebody who can overwhelm with so much cool epicness that you don't mind that the leaves are out of place on the trees.
That's fair. I do you think so? I will say too that is something that I struggle with, even as a nerd, because it is just like I watch something or I read something, I'm like, oh, I do it this way. But I think it's a very fine line between actually criticizing something and then and then pulling a WandaVision because you didn't get exactly what you wanted. Like, I think that line is very blurry. But getting back to the Electric State, I mean, we've been talking about it. What am I talking about? So, dude, did you see what the budget on this was?
I just found out about it recently. Over $300 million.
$320 million.
Do you know why?
No,
I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look
$320
expensive.
million or like
I thought
what, like
expensive stuff like with those numbers meant you had to actually film a rocket in space or film boats crashing into each other and things like that, not whatever it is they're filming here.
300. So that I saw that number, I actually thought there was like a smudge on my monitor or something. And I'm usually good about cleaning my monitor weekly. I'm like, is there something covering or something like that? I cannot be reading 320 million goddamn dollars for this movie.
Do you think Giancarlo's all like, I'm actually quite more expensive now, and you're bad product, so I'm going to need another zero on this cameo check? Like, do you think that's why it got so bloated? Like Coleman Domingo's like, hey, that's Oscar nominee now. Put another zero on my cameo check. And Tucci, Tucci's all like, my rates.
Oh yeah, Tucci at this point, like I mean, that motherfucker got paid for playing Merlin and like and for like 5 minutes, like he's like, oh, you need to add another.
Was Turturro in this? I'm surprised Turturro didn't show up with hand out like, where's my check? I got a cool voice. I'm very quirky.
So let me read this to you. Okay, this is what Chris Pratt said earlier, and dude, this is okay. Chris Pratt says when he stars in movies with a, quote, big commercial tone, unquote, he is almost always going to be playing a, quote, sliding doors version of a scoundrel adventurer. This is the exact quote. I kind of like to think, hopefully, that like every character I ever play, though, in this tone, something that's like a big family-friendly, raucous adventure sci-fi film, when it's a big commercial tone like this, you're going to get a sliding doors version of the character that I like to play.
Okay.
So what you're saying is you could give a fuck and you just want to play Star-Lord over and over again. That's what you're saying.
Okay.
Like
All right.
that's what that quote is saying. So I'm sorry. Why the fuck should I be investing in seeing your stuff in the theater when you're clearly just playing a quote sliding glass door version of the same fucking character? I posted on Blue Sky about the other day. If he is not married to Aubrey Plaza or he's not holding dual blasters, I rarely give a shit about what Chris Pratt does. Because outside of Star-Lord and playing Annie Dwyer, sci-fi Chris Pratt does a lot of bad shit. Do I even need to remind you all Passengers with Jennifer Lawrence, a movie that's so bad she never fucking brings it up? Y'all remember Passengers? You remember that shit? Do I need to bring that's the one where he reads up about Jennifer Lawrence while she's asleep so that he can gaslight her into falling in love with him.
Oh, I saw the horror trailer cut of that on YouTube. That's actually pretty interesting.
But
I've never seen the movie.
But it's played as a romance that spans the galaxy. Just God,
it's like Snow White. He saw the hottest chick and was like, "Hey, we can die together."
God,
because I'm capable.
I mean, not morally, but sure. Yeah,
she seems too. I don't want to say talented.
You kind of do. I
don't think Chris Pratt's not talented, but what did they even talk about?
That's a good question. I have no idea. Like, maybe they were just in their trailers the whole time. Maybe it wasn't even like an actual. It's like this.
She
is a
might
job.
be a better comedian than him too. Actually,
she actually might. Yeah, because she seems like she can laugh at herself.
A Hard Time was pretty damn funny.
Yeah, but so like between this and then those Jurassic World movies, I don't care. Like, I remember when the first one came out. And I was like, it's fine. It's fine. That was my reaction. And people were kind of like, dude, I think it's better than fine. Come on, look at the dinosaurs. I'm like, okay.
What do you think of James Gunn writing dialogue for Chris Pratt? Something that he's sad about is like, come on, man. I'm Star-Lord. Remember my name. Now, what do you think James Gunn saw in Chris Pratt to know that no one is going to remember this guy? Let's make that a running joke because every character that Chris Pratt has played, what's his three movies over $1 billion? What's his character's name in Jurassic World, Hunter?
Owen.
Oh, you remember?
Dude,
joke failed.
Oh, dude, I'm good with that shit, man. But again, let's keep in mind, like this is
name in Electric State.
You got me. I can't, and I just watched this 2 days ago, and I can't remember. Fuck, you actually got me because I cannot remember.
I have the IMDb up, so I don't remember anyone ever calling him that. But that's part of the problem of the movie overall is who cares?
Oh, Keats. Yeah. All right, I don't.
Who cares? Who really cares?
So here's the thing. I see Chris Pratt as a guy who got thin and said, you know what? I'm going to take advantage of this for as long as I can. That's what I see. I see a guy who is like, I'm doughy right now, which look, dude, like as a doughy dude, I like, good for you, man. You got into shape, you got cut. Like, that's awesome, man. Good for you. But I almost see someone who feels like this needs to be their path. Like, I wish there were more leading men, kind of like John Hamm, who would lean more into comedy. Like, even the comedies aren't always, game busters, but I wish people were okay with laughing at themselves more, especially these like top tier, like that's what something that makes Paul Rudd so unique. It's like he knows how to laugh at himself and is willing to make himself like, the butt of the joke. So, I get that. Yeah, you're good, man.
I'll be right back.
All right. But I think the thing with this movie that makes it so difficult is that you see someone like Chris Pratt, who I know can do more. I've seen Chris Pratt do more. Chris Pratt is so interesting to me because he's such a good. He can be such a not a good comedian, but a great comedian. Like we've seen him be a great comedian. I'm not crazy about that movie Onward. Like it's not, I don't think it's like the best thing ever or anything like that. But I think he's got some. I think he's got some actual decent charisma to him. And then you look at something like Him and Her. I think he's good in that. It's not a giant role, but he can clearly handle drama. And then something like Delivery Man with Vince Vaughn. I think he's actually funny in that. Like I've seen Chris Pratt be funny and have that nice meld of action comedy. I think Pratt could do that more if he learned to read some of these fucking scripts. I look at something like The Magnificent Seven as like kind of a prime example. I don't think Pratt needs to always be leading a film. I actually think something like Magnificent Seven kind of shows you the template for him. I think he's someone who could be maybe not second on your billing, maybe third on your billing, but can be a part of a really great ensemble. When I see something like Jurassic World or Jurassic World Dominion, that's where I think the cracks start to show, because I think James Gunn understands how to write for him in a way that a lot of people just haven't figured out how to yet. And I think Pratt wants to be more of a typical action star than he actually lets on. More in that Jason Statham-ish type of ilk. When respectfully, I just don't think that is his ilk. I don't think that's an ilk that's gonna, that's going to go ahead and work for him. But Pratt, fine. You want to take Chris Pratt, fine. Millie Bobby Brown, and I know there's been a lot of discourse around her, like in terms of her looks or whatever. I'm not gonna do that shit. But what I will say, I really could not stand her in Godzilla, King of the Monsters. I think she is goddamn atrocious in that. I think she's slightly better in Godzilla vs. Kong, but there is really nowhere to go but up after Godzilla vs. Kong. But then I see those Enola Holmes films. She's really good in those. She's actually great in those. And so I don't know if it's the scripts or it's terms of what she wants to care about, or like how much effort she's putting in. I thought Damsel, it's fine, I guess, but again, it feels like one of these it feels like one of those one of those vehicles for her that I think just doesn't work. The real test is going to be when she gets away from Netflix, or if she gets away from Netflix, because at this point, I don't know if Millie Bobby Brown wants to get away from Netflix. I really do think she is one of those young actresses where I see someone like Sadie Sink and I just see more talent with her. But I do think that Millie Bobby Brown, she wants it. I think she wants to be one of those top tier actresses. And, with the Stranger Things kids coming out of Stranger Things, whatever, this season looks like. I still haven't finished the last season of Stranger Things. Like those episodes are so goddamn long, but I think that she could be what she wants to be. I don't know if she'll be A-list, but this is a movie that really is a vehicle for her to have these more dramatic moments and to, kind of dig into these depths of a character that she's playing, like someone like Michelle, dealing with grief, dealing with the sadness, but still wanting to be the best version of herself. And I watch something like this and I go, I just don't know if that gear is there. There's a couple points where she has to cry and I'm like, damn, I just this isn't working for me. And again, I could be wrong, but I just, from what I saw here, this was not even close to what it needed to be in terms of showing off her talent. But getting into the movie proper, because I realize we haven't done that yet. Canada will be back here in a bit. But the movie itself, we go ahead and we follow her character, Michelle, and she has this relationship with her brother, who's played by Woody Norman, who looked familiar. Oh yeah, that's right. He's the kid from Come On, Come On, um, with Joaquin Phoenix. Which, if you have not watched Come On, Come On, that only came out a couple years ago. That was like high on my best of list that year. I think it was like number 4, but highly recommend checking that out. I actually have the score. I fucking love that movie. Um, Ever since Come On, Come On, he did that movie Cobweb, The Last Voyage of the Dementor. Did a short called Spaceman. So this is like a new, like a reappearance for him. And I will say, I think he does a good job with the flashbacks. I actually thought he was actually pretty good in the flashbacks. I think this movie too, for being as long as it is, that's 2 hours 8 minutes. I think another like another 10 minutes would have been nice to add some bulk to the back half in terms of the flashbacks, because his character is quote dead, quote unquote. You need to see more of the relationship between him and Millie Bobby Brown for us to care. And that really is the biggest issue, or one of the biggest issues for me in terms of this movie, is that I did not care. Like, I should care more about their relationship in this journey that they're going on, and I don't. And that's an issue with the Russos. The Russos, actually, they were not writers on this. I apologize, but it was actual fellow MCU alum Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, who, keep in mind, wrote Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, Captain America, the first Avenger. Like, these are MCU, like, they wrote the script for Winter Soldier, for fuck's sake. Like, they should know how to do this. And I cannot express enough how poorly defined these character motivations are. I mean, yeah, she wants to find her brother, but all right, again, we're not invested in your relationship anyway. And I think the movie is trying to be too clever for its own good. So there is this point where, like, halfway through the movie, I was like, I feel like I'm still learning what this is about, but it's not paced well enough for me to fucking care. Um, I watched this in 2 parts, which I try not to do. I try to watch, a movie in one setting, but I watched this, started like on a Friday night, started at Friday night, this past Friday night, watched some of it, got about an hour in, realized it was almost realized it was almost 4 o'clock in the morning, and went, yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna go ahead and just, turn this off. But even with that break, um, so much weird stuff happens in this movie. Michelle is an orphan. We found out that her mom and dad both died, so she's hopping around through foster care. So there's that Shazam element to it, which doesn't work nearly as well here as it does in Shazam. She is being taken care of by what's his name? Oh my gosh, Jason. Why am I blanking on his name? Jason Alexander. There we go. Good grief. I don't even have his character's name here on IMDb because they don't list it on IMDb. Um, he he's in this. He's in the movie for like a scene or two, so even the whole bad home life element doesn't hit as well as it really should. Um, there's so many pockets of this movie that reminded me of Ready Player One, and not in a good way. Because say what you will about Ready Player One, I think it's a very underdeveloped script, but Ready Player One at least has some action sequences that do stand out. You got the stuff near the end, especially where it just goes full tilt insanity, and at least you can point to references in Ready Player One to maybe keep you interested. Like, oh shit, that's Godzilla. Oh shit, that's Battletoads. Oh shit, you can at least point to that stuff. This movie is really banking on you being invested in the robots and being like, oh my god, these robots are so spellbinding and amazing, and oh my god, like these robots rule. I really never got that feeling watching this, and that's kind of one of the big issues, is that I did not care about these robots. And to be honest, the creepier um the creepier it is more creepy than spellbinding. There's a Mr. Peanut robot in here. Um I don't have who voices him, but that shit had me like laughing. Like I was oh, it's Woody Harrelson. That's Woody Harrelson's Mr. Peanut. All right, that's a little surprising. Um why? Why is Mr. Peanut in this? There's this whole monologue and this whole kind of running subplot about, you know, robots being humane and what that sort of means in terms of our humanity. And they introduced this element. I'm blanking on what it's called, a neurocaster. That's what it's called, where a human can be basically sitting in their home or at the restaurant or a diner or whatever. They can be sitting there and be controlling a robot, and basically just like projects the person's face on the robot who is controlling, who's in the neurocaster. And I think that element, having seen the actual human's face, I actually think it takes away from the robot aspect of it, because it does look just kind of weird. The way the robots are presented, I thought uh just looked very flaky. um I wish they would have found a different way to do that, kind of like with it, kind of like in Age of Ultron, where you see the where the robots' mouths are actually moving. I wish that it was more just like a sound wave, like a radio wave. Um, in terms of how the robots look here, it is just like a grayed out version of the guy's of the person's face who's using the neurocaster. And I don't know. It just it's this weird hybrid of humanity and robot that for me just aesthetically didn't work. Um, what's his name? Giancarlo Esposito is in this movie. I'm such a fan of his. I don't know what he was paid, but he was paid, I would assume, very handsomely for this role. And because he's mostly a robot and we get so little of him as an actual person in the movie, it takes away from his performance. And that's really the case for most of these people. Anthony Mackie, Captain America, hell yeah. He voices Herman. I think that's the character's name, and he's like the robot companion to Chris Pratt's character. And I will say, he's the one thing I kind of liked in this movie. Like was Anthony Mackie, because I just, I love Anthony Mackie. But between him and Brian Cox playing Popfly, which is like this robot that's like a baseball man, there's just so much in this that feels like it's just thrown in for the sake of being thrown in. And I'm like, all right, that's cool if you want to have that be a thing, but it's very weird just how thrown together everything does feel. And the more the film goes on, the less ideas the film feels like it has. This is I've been kind of just rambling about the movie, waiting for you to get back, but welcome back.
Thank you.
I'll just say, like, plot wise, I didn't fucking care. Like, the more this went on, I was just like, I don't think this movie knows where it's going. Jason Alexander pops up as like the abusive stepdad, but he's only in like a scene until he's written off the movie, so that whole element doesn't hit nearly as hard as it should. The robots, I think, are fucking creepy. There's this whole Mr. Peanut thing that I was talking about, that why Mr. Peanut's in this movie, I don't understand. I don't fucking care why Mr. Peanut's in this movie. There's supposed to be these action robot scenes that are supposed to be epic, and I didn't feel like that at all. Like, this really made me feel like I was like, was I too hard on Chappie? Because like I was I was pretty hard on Chappie, and I, like, as I was watching this, I was like, man, I might have been too hard on Chappie. Like, I could, like, I only watched this a couple days ago, and I cannot remember. Like, there's not an action scene I could point like there is of course a point where what's his name? Stanley Tucci, his character, of course, gets the evil super robot. You know, he gets like the super shredder of robots. And honestly, the robot he has, not impressive. It's actually more like, oh, this feels like something a CEO would come up with themselves without without the help of engineers. Like it's not,
Right.
you know, like there's nothing about it that stands out. I think the 90s aesthetic and like how this is set in the 90s actually hurts the movie because the technology feels quote advanced but also held back.
Yeah.
Because you know
I
they're
think it was so they could just make obscure references for the
and I'll be
90s.
real, dude. That's what it felt like. It felt like they're like, oh, how can we get big mouth Billy Basses to
Yeah.
be a thing in this movie? Which, come on, people. And Chris Pratt, man, him and Millie Bobby Brown, they don't have chemistry. Like they're like it's supposed to be like the big brother, little sis sort of dynamic. And I never felt that. Like as I was watching it, I was like, this doesn't gel for me. This doesn't vibe for me. I don't know the book this is based on, because apparently it's based on a book, which could have fooled me that this was based on a book. This is based on a book in the way that Pixels is based on that short film, where it's like I bet they took the actual concept of what it was originally based on and just went, all right, let's pump that money in because this feels like it's supposed to start a franchise, which is laughable, by the way, because it sets up like, oh well, what's the next adventure gonna be? And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, nothing. Nothing is the correct answer. There's nothing about this that makes me want to revisit this world at all. I was pointing out that the brother I think is actually a better actor in this than Millie Bobby Brown is, but the problem is we only get a little bit of the kid. Woody Norman is the kid's name. He was in that Joaquin Phoenix A24 movie. Come on, that I fucking adore. That was like
Oh
number
yeah,
4.
that was good.
Yeah, that was like number 4 on my list that year. And
Oh, do you think they told the Russos directing him? Do you think they just kind of told him to tone it down? Because he can play a peculiar, awkward, antisocial kid incredibly well. If you've seen Come On, you know what I'm talking about. Like his panic attack and his anxiety attack that he has in this film is literally just sitting quietly and listening to Millie Bobby Brown tell him he's okay. And
yeah,
I thought,
yeah.
what
No,
are we
I
actually seeing in this scene? Is it like my trifling ass hunter was like, oh, she's having the panic attack and she's telling herself she's okay. And he's her rock. That's deep. That's deep. But then as the
and
scene
no.
drags on, because all the scenes drag on, I'm like, oh, I'm overthinking this. This is just very poorly done and conveyed.
Yeah, like it feels like Michael B. Jordan in Fantastic Four, honestly, where they're like, you know how you're like super charismatic and fun and Chronicle. He's like, yeah, it's like cool. Do the exact opposite of that. Like you like don't like all that charisma and charm. You like we don't want you out acting Miles Teller. Like you bottle that shit up and you compress it. And there is this point too, and I'm trying really hard not to just like talk shit about her, but she is like a vet at this point. She's been in enough stuff where it's like it is more than fair to criticize. And look, if you would go back and listen to that Godzilla King of the Monsters review, I am not kind in my assessment of Millie Bobby Brown. I think she's goddamn awful in that movie. And there's a point here where she needs to break down about losing her brother, because she literally has to pull the plug. And dude, it is flat. It is flat as a board, her performance, as far as like, and then she has to give the Sarah Connor speech, like, we are the resistance, and she can't do that either. It's like, girl, like you gotta, like, come on now, like you gotta give us something. Like I was trying, man, because like the point I was making is there, you know, she's been getting a lot of shit for her looks and and like she's getting older, so of course the creeps are going to come out, unfortunately. And like so like
absolutely.
so I've been trying really hard, man, to just
Boy.
not say shit, because it's like I know she wants to get better, but I am also wondering, does she want to get better? Does she want to be Sadie Sink? Because it feels like Sadie Sink is actively trying to do shit outside of her wheelhouse and get better. Like, she's doing stuff with Brendan Fraser. She's doing, like, it feels like she wants to be an actress. Maybe Millie Bobby Brown just wants to be a brand. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that might be what it is. Like, she just may want to be, Miss Netflix for a while. Like, that might be her ceiling. Chris Pratt is kind of becoming Mr. Amazon with like the Terminal List and the Tomorrow War and shit like that. Maybe that's all Pratt wants to be. Maybe Pratt just wants to be a brand, kind of try and just, and just do that. And look, more power to her. If she thinks she has a ceiling and she doesn't want to extend past that, like Hugh Grant played the same fucker for years and got by doing that. So it's like, it's not like you can't do it. Like, maybe that's just what she wants to do. But don't sit here and sell me this $320 million movie. There you go. Don't sell me like this is some high sci-fi or this is some high art, because it's not. And I think Netflix even knows that it's not. But the amount of money that they're throwing away, man, like, there could have been more episodes of The Get Down. They could have renewed The Brother Son. And I guarantee you bringing both of those shows back would have been better than what we're getting here.
Yeah, that was a good show.
And it's frustrating, man, because like they have these robots doing fucking debates on CNN, about like like are they real? Like, do they have? I'm just like, guys, but I'm like, that's an interesting conversation. But they're not having these conversations. Like, it's just like Jurassic World, where they're like, oh wow, Fallen Kingdom, dumb little clone girl lets all these dinosaurs out into the real world. Holy shit, what a concept that is. And then they just montage past it. It's like, should we focus on the consequences potentially of dinosaurs being in the real world? No, we're absolutely not going to. Oh, and by the way, there are only 7 people that were killed by dinosaur attacks. That's fucking ridiculous. Why would you put this giant fucking thing that could have incredible consequence and then just brush past it? Like, what are we doing here? And I don't, like, Alea asked me, she's like, oh, what's the movie about? And to be honest, dude, I had to pause for a second, because I was like, it's about robots potentially being more human than they are, but the movie doesn't do that legwork. That's me like inferring, because I can like read between the lines, but also the script doesn't do that legwork. And Stanley Tucci is like an evil tech genius, but he barely seems to know how his own company fucking runs. So I'm like, all right, so it's not really about that either.
Yeah, they don't even really get into what his company is selling.
Yeah, like it might as well be Zack Snyder's LexCorp. I'm just like, what do you do? And they're just like,
and everybody speaks in grand sweeping platitudes. Oh, Stanley Tucci. What's he do? What was his name? Mr. Stack? I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what he's selling. He's selling chains. Like, could you elaborate? Like, what is that an acronym for something? No, we're moving on. Okay.
Yeah, like I kept watching this man, and I was just
he's a bad man. He's so bad.
I just kept constantly being confused.
And everybody stands on a position that they don't live,
Yeah, like
Millie Bobby Brown's my favorite one, and I won't trash on Millie Bobby Brown, but she's all like, I want to live in the real world. I want to live with real people and have real experiences. And then she spends the 2-hour plus runtime not doing any of that
at all.
Yeah. like she has like 0 friends and 0 connections to anybody. And even the connection she has with Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt, yeah,
is more passenger than actual compadre.
Brad Pitt would have been perfect because he doesn't take care of his own kids. So like him being aloof to Millie
Yeah, and
Bobby
he has
Brown,
a way
he
of
would have been.
it's an acting trick he does where he can look at someone and you know how he feels about them, just how they look at them.
Yeah, yeah.
And not that Chris Pratt can't do that, but I don't even think it's hard to picture that Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown even met. Like maybe they were all filmed separately and just
Oh,
spliced
God,
together.
I hate how correct that could actually be.
That sounds like
Um,
that's what happened.
it's funny. I was pointing out that the one robot I kind of cared about was Chris Pratt's like homie, um,
I think it was Herb. Was it
Herb.
Herb?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Herman.
Herman.
And that's voiced, of course, by Captain America, Anthony Mackie. I was like, of course, that's why I liked you. Of
Hey,
course,
Marvel friends.
yeah,
Hey.
yeah. Uh, dude, my notes for this, like, I have a note that literally says, "A scav wants to eat you whole and poop you out." That's a line in this movie. In the movie, like, come on, y'all.
Exactly. So I'm thinking, what does that mean? Like, I'm still not sure what a scab even is. Do you know? Could you explain that to me?
Like, I think those are
And
like
I
the bad
watched the
robots.
movie.
Dude, I don't know, man. Like, I kept, because like I was going through my notes and I was
Are
sitting
they
here
like
like,
unionized robots? That's the only thing I can think of. Like, wait, was there a robot union maybe, and the scabs took over? But if they're robots too, then how did they separate from the collective of technologically advanced thinking?
let me point this out too. Ki Hoi Kwan is in this as
Yeah.
Dr. Amherst. And one of the things about him, like his superpower in general is being earnest. Like he's so good at playing earnest and making you believe shit. And he's like, it's almost like Morgan Freeman and Watchmen, where they gave him that exposition where you're like, this is bullshit. Like, if you read just the script of that, you're like, oh, this is total bullshit. This whole, like, the looms and all that. But Morgan Freeman's such a good actor, you almost buy it. Like, you almost
Somebody
buy it.
shoot this motherfucker. Really
Yeah.
brought it together. Yeah.
It's the same thing here with Ki Hoi Kwan, because when he's explaining, like, oh, yeah, we used your brother in his brain, like we realized he was so special that he could power this whole organization, which by the way, it is not really explained how they did that. Like that could have been a case where they,
what it even means, really.
yeah, like that could have been a very easy point to be like, basically we welded a neurocaster on your brother's head and said you need to, like, we're using your, like that could have at least been sinister if they had actually gone that extra half step. But they can't even do like, it's so weird how I was watching this movie and thinking like, oh wow, this is like a worse version of the Atom Project. Like that's basically what this is.
I didn't
And
see the Atom Project.
that's one with Mark Ruffalo and Ryan Reynolds and
and
yeah,
references.
yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. I'll give you that. There's a lot of references in that, but watching this movie, I felt empty, man. Like for something where this should be timely in terms of like AI and robots and what is sentient and what is like, this could have had something to say, but
The wind has taken him. The robots have shut him down again. The show's turning into a solo. So yeah, Electric State. A huge problem is a lot of people make these grandiose statements but don't follow up. Like your brother and his brain is the most important thing in the entire world of science and robotics ever. So my trifling self was like, "Oh, cool. That'll be an interesting explanation as to why his brain is important," and it never comes. The explanation is because I just told you it was. What else do you want from me? I said your brother's brain was important, ergo it is. And all of the writing is like that. It's so peculiar. It's definitely a capitalist apologist type of screenwriting as well. Like, why are there robots? And somebody said, oh, robots were built to do the jobs that human beings refuse to do. So that phrase right there is, yeah, just can you just admit, because it's cheap to free labor, just admit it, for crying out loud. Oh, robots were built because it's cheaper labor. Is that really such a dangerous line to put in a blockbuster? Everybody gets it. And then at least the disconnect between humans and robots could be like, those robots took our jobs. At least then the hatred of robots makes more sense. I think that the robots and the humans would appreciate each other more for both not wanting to do particular jobs. And we never know what these jobs are. We don't know what the jobs are. Dressed as a peanut? Is that a job? Dressed as a giant peanut with a top hat and Woody Harrelson's voice, but only slightly off? Is that a job no one wants to do? What's the pay? And that's another thing in the movie. Chris Pratt, he makes a grandiose statement. I'll tell you what life's about. Smashing, grabbing, get that money and get out of here. And family, you can't trust family. And no one knows why he says that. He never smashes or grabs anything either.
Y'all,
He has no money. And
when
what would he even have the money for? I've just been ranting.
I don't know. I'm gonna be real, y'all. So the wind knocked my shit out again. So I'm gonna wrap this up real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, our weather is fucking with my electricity. So I don't want my shit to power surge. So I'm gonna just say, go fuck yourself, dumb movie. Canada, what you got?
Same. Yeah, I just said huge, grandiose statements are made, and none of it is acted upon or lived. Like there's one part where he's like, I'm not gonna kill you, robot. And the robot says, you can't really kill what's not alive. And I'm like, what? Why would a robot say that? But then also insist he wants freedom. You're not convinced that you're alive, but you find freedom precious? Who is writing this? Why are there so many conflicting statements and ideas? Was it just throwing shit at the screen? So many
Yeah.
catchphrases, so many references, so many just nonsense. Sci-fi should make you think, not make you dumb. And yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just yeah. Fucking dumb. Fucking dumb. But yeah, y'all. We would be reviewing Moana 2. Maybe we can do that later this week. But yeah, I want to make sure that I actually have a
You
good
don't want to fry
connection.
your
Yeah, I don't want to fry my shit, and I'm getting wind warnings even on my phone. So we are gonna wrap this up. Yeah, you can find all of our socials. They are listed on my on the oh my god, I am tired. They are listed on the Twitch channel. You can go ahead and check those out. Canada, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on oneofus.net. Review lots of stuff. Got that Looney Tunes movie coming up for review. Borderline was just reviewed. That should be playing in select theaters, I think nationwide. And fun times for nepotism when the actor is actually incredibly talented. Ray Nicholson. Who would have thunk it? You know.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I heard they're kind of the business right now. So yeah, be keep an eye out. But yeah, y'all, everyone, thank you so much for listening. Oh yeah, I will not. I might have one more stream this upcoming week, but then moving, so probably be off for like the next week. But I think I'll get a stream in before Friday. Probably have Canada back on the review Moana 2, and probably do Friendly Neighborhood. Spider-Man, because I want to watch that and review that. So keep an eye out on socials for when I will be live again. But Canada, thanks so much for coming on. Thanks for rolling the punches. I appreciate it.
And you were fine. Thank you.
Oh, of course, man. The stream will be more consistent next time, I promise. But everyone, thank you so much.
When we shit on Moana too.
Yeah, I if you're a fan of Moana 2, I'll just tell you may not want to watch next stream. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. Stay safe, take care of each other, give someone a hug, give someone a compliment. But never forget, as always, to keep it real. Please stay safe, and we will talk to you later this week. Cheers.